page.
Oh, you're bad. You're bad.
Okay. I have provided for you paper and pencils if you wish to take notes. And I'm not going to talk like that for the rest of the panel. Okay.
Are we starting right now?
Sure.
Okay.
As soon as I remember where the thingy is. The,
Well, good luck. We did a test run of this yesterday.
the high-tech word for that other thing.
Which thingy?
I found it. Shut up. I'm very abusive. I'm sorry.
The box.
Okay. I don't have to keep yelling, do I? All right. So, notes. Anyone? No one are fine. Okay. Over-prepared. That's me. So, hello and welcome. 1, 2, 3, 4 people that aren't my parents and friends. My name is Cleo, and I have a channel on YouTube called Gam3rCon. I don't know where I should be looking. I'll look at you, because you're right there.
Yeah.
Hi. Where I do Let's Plays and video game reviews and music videos, and lately I've been, been getting more into interviews with industry people, like game developers and writers, and trying to network and get that going. But mostly I began, go ahead, no one bite, please come inside. Please.
Come on inside.
Join the fun.
There's prizes, fabulous prizes, fabulous prizes.
Prizes.
Free.
Go ahead, honey.
Okay, yeah, so I started out doing Let's Plays, which, raise your hand if you do what a Let's Play is. Raise your hand if you do what a video game commentary is. Congratulations, you know what a Let's Play is. Good job.
Raise your hand if
So-
you're doing one.
Nice. Yeah. Raise your hand if you've done over 200.
Wow.
All right. And this panel was supposed to be called "How Do I Shot Let's Plays," but it's okay. It's a meme. Probably no one understands. I'm full of memes. Okay.
How do you shot web?
Yep. You don't know what a Let's Play is?
I like that.
Get your fuck. No, I'm kidding. Next. So, first of all, what is a Let's Play and what is not a Let's Play? Yes, that's the song. And it's supposed to be a joke, but basically, a Let's Play is video game, footage of a video game with commentary. If you just have the actual gameplay but no commentary, no personal input, it is not a Let's Play. It is a walkthrough, it is video gameplay, whatever. To be a Let's Play, it has to be original in some way because people are interacting with it. Go ahead next. Let's Plays offer meaningful commentary. That's an inside joke because my Let's Plays are completely vapid and horrible. They're not useful at all. Haha! Yes, that was a joke. Good job. But yeah, basically, a Let's Play can have different purposes behind it, but it's generally useful and or funny, or well, it can be boring, but you don't want it to be boring. So next. It's basically kind of like Mystery Space Theater 3. That was 3000.
It is 3,000.
I typed it. Sorry.
This is sponsored.
And it's a science theater.
I just was tired. Shut up. Okay.
It looks pretty cool like that, I guess.
Yeah, basically, okay, you guys know that show, right? Where they like watch a movie and the whole time they're watching the movie, they're like making fun of it. That's what Let's Play is with a video game. So you're like playing the game and you can make fun of it or you can just be like totally into it. It depends on your style. Next. Presenting the first ever Let's Play. So let's sorry. Oh, that's okay. You guys are donated.
Another GC.
Question at the end. Wait.
As great as Chubot's Oregon show one is, Livonius's Final Fantasy VIII one was about 6 months before this one.
Ha! You did bad research. He was the one. Oh, well, okay. As far as I know, basically the first Let's Play except for what that guy said, was this one that showed up on the Something Awful forums, which are infamous for having
Interesting.
trailblazed a lot of internet things. And basically, a person started a thread where they posted what was supposed to be like the perspective of the characters in the Oregon Trail game, complete with screenshots. But obviously, it was humor, you know. But anyway, so the guy did that, and it was huh?
Maybe has no face. I've never seen this.
Okay, I don't. Stop interrupting me. You're making me nervous. Okay, next. So basically, it did so well that suddenly everybody and their dog decided that they wanted to do Let's Plays, and the bug just flew in my face. Thank you, bug. Next. Slow Beef was the first one to do a video version of a Let's Play. He did Super Metroid for the NES. And SNES. Yes, I say SNES.
Nice.
NES. Whatever. I don't know. I'll let retro, whatever. I love retro, shut up. Okay, next. And now if you search for Let's Play on Google, you'll get a shit ton of results. So, obviously, it's caught on. By the way, the Oregon Trail one was in 2006, I forgot to mention that. And the Slow Beef one was a year later. This is my first panel, be nice to me. Okay, next. So, yeah. Some more views.
That's me, Willy Wonka.
The
Your wallet.
ding. That was
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay, so the reason I put that meme in there, or GIF in there, is that picking a game is obviously a very important step in when you choose to Let's Play. However, if you have the personality, you can make any game work. I mean, there are, I don't know if you guys have all heard of QWOP. Pretty much? Okay. If you haven't, it's a really simple Flash game where the controls are just stupid. The controls are stupid, and basically it's like impossible to properly play. And some people have made hilarious Let's Plays out of it. Like there's a famous one by some guy whose voice or name I can't remember, where I wouldn't listen to it in the same room as your mother because he's got a mouth that would make a sailor blush. But it's freaking hilarious to see him like freaking out. Anyway, the point is, you can make any game work as long as you have a good game.
No.
And you know, don't be discouraged by the fact that there are a lot of Let's Players out there, because if you do have a good enough energy or enough attention or enough whatever your special thing is, you can show up on top. These are some of the top ones on YouTube right now. Toby Games has over 1 million subscribers and over 420 million video views. Total Halibut has almost 1 million. PewDiePie has over 1 million. Blue Zephos, aka Yogscast, he has 1 billion video views. Big number. That means that not necessarily 1 billion people, but people have 1 billion, blah 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 times watched his videos. So nice number to aspire to. Next. So one of the things you definitely have to address when you are deciding if you want to make Let's Plays is why are you doing it? Because if you're doing it for fame, it's the internet. Be prepared to be called a bleep and a bleep and a bleepity bleep and sometimes even bleep. So, you know, you have to have a hard shell and, you know, not take stuff like that to heart. And also, even when they're not calling you expletives, how do you pronounce that? It's fine. I don't hate it. Anyway, see, this is why I want you to interrupt me. Where was I? Expletives, right. Like my favorite, is that even when they're trying to be nice, a lot of times they'll be really open with their critiques, and you know, like it really sucks if you recorded something and you think it's like the best Let's Play ever, oh my god, and you put it on there and you either get no responses or all the responses are like, this is boring, this sucks, oh my god, like it can be really, really depressing.
Retsu Prey.
So, huh?
Or you wind up as a Retsu Prey.
Yeah. I would love to be a Red Spray. Those guys are hilarious. Anyway, another thing that some crazy people might think would be a good reason to do a Let's Play is fortune. Like they watch Toby Games and they see him make a career out of it. That's kind of part of why I did it, and then I realized that's stupid. You have to work really, really hard. You have to be really, really lucky to even make like decent wages, like living wages. So don't do it as a career unless you have like the time and the leisure to devote to it, and also understand that it might never get there. But a big reason that I think is an excellent reason to do Let's Plays is simply because you enjoy entertaining others. Maybe you're that guy or girl who everyone's like, oh, you're so funny, because apparently people like that really exist. I don't know. They exist. That's the kicker. If you like making people, like you like going and socializing and you're looking at your watch and it's making me nervous, stop looking at your watch. You could look at your watch if you want. But yeah, if you like entertaining other people, that's an excellent reason to do it. One thing that's really nice is it's actually a really good way you can like make yourself more confident, because you can entertain others, but you can still like refilm a video if it comes out late, or show it to a small audience and then get some feedback. But yeah, next. Now, Amy Video Gamer. Raise your hand if you know who he is. Yeah, pretty much all of you. Basically, he is a Let's Player, sort of. You can figure it out. Where basically his entire shtick is he hates video games. Even if he likes a video game, he hates video games. So his Let's Plays and reviews and everything like that, basically he takes like every game out there and just tears it to shreds. And that's his shtick. People expect that now from him, and he's got a monopoly on that pretty much. So, if you were like, hey, I have an idea, I'm gonna play retro games and tear them apart. Sorry, you're kind of late to the party. But you can still make it work. You just have to have something that makes you not try and rip off this guy. Next. Now, another important thing. And this is the same image that the other guy used, which is kind of funny. Another important thing about making.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's not totally about to fall away. Is you have to identify your potential audience for your Let's Plays. It's going to impact everything you do. For instance, if you're, I don't know, targeting the embittered retro gamer, for instance, obviously they're not going to like anything you play that's new. So, if you want to get in with those guys, don't be like, oh my God, Call of Duty is such an original game and it's like so well made, and because you're not going to get in with that crap. But on the other hand, if you do think Call of Duty is like the best game ever, plenty of fans waiting to be enthralled by your fantastic explanation of how Call of Duty is like the most amazing game ever. And for the record, I have no problem with Call of Duty. I hate the fans. The fans are annoying. Next.
Wait, you didn't talk about the kids. You didn't talk about the kids section on that one.
Oh, well, yeah. Mom! I don't know. What do you want me to say about the kids?
Well,
Don't
just
swear.
say you definitely have to
If you
pick
want-
your audience,
if you
because
want
you
your
don't want to
audience
use
to
foul
kids.
language if you're aiming for kids. That's all.
I do My Little Pony.
Yes.
Hey,
Well, that works for
My Little
kids or
Pony is
adults, really,
amazing.
depending.
My Little Pony,
Brownie.
Rainbow Fluffy Bunny.
I've seen like 2
Pony
episodes.
You
Actually.
should do a Let's Play a Wii bowling if you want old people to watch it.
Yes. And don't do anything at all complicated. Okay, now this. No more comments from the peanut gallery? Okay. Also, so you picked your audience, and maybe you've picked, well, you probably haven't picked a game yet, but another important factor, and there's not like any one more important than the other. They all tie together. So you could actually present these in any order. That's the word. But another thing that you have to consider is if you're doing written or video. Now, I've only ever done video because I don't have the patience for written, but basically written, go ahead next. Written is like this. Written is you have the screenshots from the game and you have descriptions of what happens between each screenshot. And usually the descriptions are written from the perspective of the character, from what I've seen. You don't really like third person everything because people like to feel engaged. And this can be very good for like Japanese RPGs that never end. Because honestly, like, you know, when you play like Final Fantasy or whatever, there's hours and hours and hours that go into, you know, killing mobs and hunting for items. And you can try to be an interesting person when you're recording that stuff, but it gets old. And, you know, unless you want to like edit all that out, which is a lot of work, written can be the way to go. Next.
Some side note on that. There's a game that she finished called Amnesia where it doesn't take many hours to finish, but it took like 40-something videos. So.
Yeah, and it's only like 5 hours.
So a game that would take many hours would kind of.
Yeah. Even if you could look at Toby's channels, he has like all the games he has, they're like in like the 300s.
Fallout is in like 397.
Yeah. Next.
One of the other benefits of written games, if you'll
Yeah.
permit me, is that you can use creative editing to completely change the feeling and tempo of the game. I've seen Animal Crossing, the cute decorating simulator, turned into a horror story.
For The Sims.
If you search for
Oh,
the terrible
horror story.
secret of Animal Crossing, I would just read it with the lights on.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have the skill to write, you know, written can be an excellent way to go. It's basically a novel with screenshots. It's basically fan fiction actually with screenshots. So, you know, there's some amazing fan fiction out there. But if you're lazy like me and you decide to go with video, video is a lot easier, I think, but it does have its own pitfalls. Go to the next. Okay, that's early. See, I had it printed out with the slides, but it's fine. Some of the issues with video, however, is you have to try to be entertaining all the time, or you have to spend a lot of time editing out the boring parts. And even if you know how to edit, it can be hard to know what are the good parts and what are the bad parts because you're the one in the video. So you're like, I don't know what part's funny, I don't know what part's lame. So that's one of the reasons I don't really edit because like I don't know what parts I should leave in or not. But I'm probably gonna start doing it because I'm getting tired of having my Let's Plays go into like the hundreds of videos and I'm like, okay, I don't even care anymore, so I'm sure nobody else does. So now go to the next one. Now, choosing a game for Let's Play, assuming you've decided if you want to do it written or video, there's basically 3 categories of video games that you can pick from. There's retro, there's newer, and there's indie. Now, retro and newer, like I mentioned the Angry Video Game Nerd, he does retro games. He might have done newer ones, I haven't really watched, I don't know. But a lot of the other Let's Players, they do newer ones. And some of the other ones, like Yogscast does Minecraft, and he went on to go do other games, I think. Now, retro games, pros, it tends to be abandonware, which is a legal gray area, but Let's Plays in general are a legal gray area, so. But the abandonware means that the companies are probably less likely to hunt you down and kill you if you have video from their game on your channel. There's also plenty of older titles that have not yet been LP'd, or at least not LP'd and made famous. So, you know, don't do Super Mario World, because that's been done like to death, but I don't know, Hubert or something like that, maybe it has. Or maybe it hasn't, so you can do that one if you want. Also, nostalgia factor is like the #1 reason to do a retro game, because if you pick something, even if it's been done a lot, like, you know, I don't know, Link to the Past, I'm actually considering starting Link to the Past one, because that's like one of my favorite Zelda games, and it's a lot of other people's favorite Zelda games. And you start playing it, and people who played the game before will watch it because, you know, they remember it as a kid, they want to see what it's like, but they don't want to go to the effort of digging it out or playing through it again or anything like that. However, cons, you can go with ROMs, but if you don't go with ROMs and you want to capture it directly from the video or from the game console, you're gonna have difficulty getting a capture device that works with a coaxial cable because that's just archaic technology now. It can be expensive and time consuming to find working copies of old games, especially for like Chrono Trigger. It goes for like 150, something like that on eBay. So, if you don't have a copy of it, but you really want to Let's Play it, and you're trying to find a copy, be ready to put some serious buckos into it. Also, the flip side of the nostalgia factor is younger gamers who never played that game of your youth will be like, what is this? Oh my god, it's so old, it's ugly, ugh. So, they're not going to be, like, inclined to watch the video because they have no attachment to the game. And when they see the Let's Play, they see an old game with clunky controls and, everything's written, there's no voice acting, there's no flashy cinematics, so they have no desire to watch it. So, then your other option, getting all out of breath, like yelling, your other option is newer games. Thank you. Sorry, I ate an energy bar right before this, so. Okay. Oh, you weren't here when I said before, but I brought paper if anyone wants to take notes. But you already have
I
paper.
said, thank you so much, though.
Trying to be helpful.
You are. It's working, honey, it's working.
Okay, good. I'm really nervous. I don't know if it shows, but I'm really nervous. Okay, so newer games, pros, lots of current interest. I mean, look at the bajillions of sales for, like, again, Call of Duty or Skyrim and stuff like that. So obviously there's a lot of people interested that are playing right now, or at least have played, within the last couple of years, who would be interested maybe, if you're funny, they'll be interested in seeing a Let's Play. Also, a lot of the people that comment on my videos, they say like, oh, I wasn't sure about this game, so I watched the Let's Play to know if I wanted to get it. So, if it's a newer game, that's another possible draw. Also, it has flashy graphics, so you won't have the little kids going, oh my god, so ugly! I mean, they still might, because little kids are not nice people, but really had to bite my tongue. But they're good-looking games out there, definitely. And also, much improved gameplay and voice acting. The game entertains on its own. So if you are worried that you're not an entertaining person, but you want to do Let's Plays anyway, you could go for a game with I don't know, Witcher 2, for instance. Witcher 2 it has kind of clunky controls, but it has a very good story. It has good graphics, good voice acting. So if you want to Let's Play it, you can comment here or there like, oh, she's hot, or that's a dumb looking guy, whatever, it's still a Let's Play. But basically the game carries itself. But the cons, a lot of competition with other Let's Players for newer games because everybody wants to do the hottest new thing. So you have especially Minecraft or something, a lot of the games you've never heard of, or a lot of the games you hear of, you might have heard of them because of a Let's Player. And if you heard of it because of a Let's Player, you probably shouldn't Let's Play that game. It's pretty much been, done. Also, it requires expensive hardware for HD capture, which I'll go into more in a little bit. Also, more stringent copyright infringement laws, especially for games that's the double-edged blade with stuff like Witcher. The game companies that make the games actually have completely different agreements with the voice actors for cinematic scenes versus gameplay scenes. And even I just got signed up with TGN, who is a partner on YouTube, so that I have a little more leeway with copyright. And even with them, they're like, don't ever upload straight cinematics. Don't ever, because we'll get in super big trouble. So it's a problem if you don't have enough commentary and you don't take care with what parts of the game you're uploading. And the flip side of the improved gameplay or whatever is games that have constant stuff going on, constant voice acting and stuff like that. There's really not that much room for you to put your personality out there. So if you're trying to make a Let's Play based off of your how funny you are or whatever, it's a lot more difficult with newer games. Now, that's not necessarily true. I mean, for instance, Toby Games, his whole shtick is that he's bad at video games that he's like kind of a stereotypical guy. Like every time a hot girl comes on screen, he's like, oh, hot, 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 you know, that's his thing. And like for instance, he did LA Noire, which is a Rockstar game, same people as Grand Theft Auto, and there's definitely a lot of voice acting and stuff like that. But the way he made it work is that he replied to the characters in the game, basically. Like obviously they couldn't really hear him, but you know. Next. Oh yeah, EA is really bad about copyright. I did Alice the Madness Returns from doing Alice the Madness Returns. No. I'm really inappropriate, sorry. And like they've tried to remove like almost all my videos. They're just like, nope. So they haven't yet, but they can try. Now the third option is indie games. Now, indie games, obviously, they're games made by independent developers. And there's been a huge rise of them lately. They've been getting a lot more media attention. They've been getting a lot of community support. So that might be an excellent choice for you to Let's Play. I mean, like I said, Yogscast did Minecraft, which, believe it or not, was an indie game. Now they're all multi-millionaire, billionaire, trillionaires. But when it first came out, it was just this little nothing game that was like the beta.
Wow.
And people just ate it up. Ask her, she plays 10 hours a day.
Not quite, but close.
It's okay, before that was Demon's Souls, so. So pros, cheap to obtain, because indie games, usually they're like $10 or less. Easy to capture if you get it on PC using this wonderful program I'll mention later called Fraps. The graphics are like, it's this weird blend of HD and 8-bit, because it's like, obviously this is not on par with Skyrim, but at the same time, it's got a stylized look, so it is visually attractive depending on the game. But and also there's an underground indie gaming community support network that really will boost you, especially if it's like a game that a lot of people like, but it hasn't really been Let's Played or not. You know, like if you get the game and you start Let's Playing it, and probably there's like a forum or something where people that like this game talk, you go to the forum and you post it, and then people are like, oh my god. And if that game does end up becoming the next Minecraft or Terraria or whatever, all these people who, or actually the Let's Plays will be the first things that show up when people later on are interested in the same game. And it's generally easy to get permission for use from developers because a lot of indie developers, they're younger guys, they have a more accepting approach towards stuff like fan fiction and Let's Plays. And they think of it as free advertising because honestly it is. I mean, if you watch the Let's Play of a game and it seems like a really fun game, are you just going to be like, yep, that was a fun game? No, you're going to go out and buy the game. So, you know, they think of it as free advertising. However, the cons, the games are usually unheard of or they've already been Let's Played to death. So you've got like this game that no one's ever heard of, that's this weird little game, and if you play it, you know, you're probably not going to have that many people see that, so it's cool, I can breathe for a second. Anyway, so if it's a small game that people have never heard of, you're going to have a tough time selling. You're going to have to sell it based on your own merits alone. But the flip side of that is it might be something like Minecraft where a bajillion people have already Let's Played it, and then you're one of many, and it's like, no one's gonna watch it unless you like are a hot girl or you have like amazing, you know, funny word of mouth kind of thing. No. You have to be like I just need to be like I'm a video game. Sorry, I thought that. You think I'm kidding? There's this girl. Hold on. There's this girl. I can't remember her channel name, nor would I ever say it. She calls herself a Let's Player. Every single one of her thumbnails is of her chest with an arrow pointing at her chest.
I think I know what
I
you're
think
talking
that one's
about.
I've seen that.
30,000 each one.
Don't say her name because I don't want to give that lovely young woman any more attention.
I only know her chest, that's all.
But I'm saying like, you know, and that's really desperate. I mean like that to me is kind of pathetic. It's like, really, that's your asset?
Short videos.
You're not all entertaining, so.
You think guys who do like the flip side of a six-pack abs, like,
You know, that really doesn't work on girls the same
I
way
know,
that boobs work
it's
on
not
guys.
fair.
But girls love dwarfs. Because seriously, Toby, I don't think Toby would be half as popular with his wife if he wasn't such a handsome goofball. Because, you know, but I mean, usually you have him work with it. So,
Okay.
angry video game nerd isn't going to be like winning the covers of Maxim, but, you know, people love him because he's so, you know,
Also, he's
acidic.
happily married, so I don't
Yeah.
think his wife was really good.
Different bits have way popularity, and last one tends to be short with somewhat repetitive gameplay. Kind of the same thing with a lot of retro games. Is they're like platformers, where I mean that's the unfortunate pitfall of a lot of indie developers is developing better gameplay takes a lot of programming. So you have to be really inventive to keep people interested through all the jump, die, jump, die, jump, die. And eventually you have to have more to say than